What's going on, YouTube? So we're back here working on the Solstice, or the LNF Kappa, and we got to install a radiator, lower radiator hose, and I ended up getting a new expansion tank. This is a GM one, and I'll explain later kind of what's wrong with the other one, but this one's better built and it actually has a float in there compared to the Chinese shit. So really what we need to do is we need to pull the radiator out of this thing. I've already got it set up here on the chocks, and cold air is going to come out, pins are going to come out here. Going to have to remove upper radiator, lower radiator, and I'll kind of video along the way so you can see what I'm doing. So it should be a pretty easy, quick process, so stick around. All right. Remove the cold air. Well, all right, so we've got the whole front end of the car removed, and now we can see the radiator. But it doesn't look like that thing's actually going to come out, so we're going to need to remove the charging tubes now, and then we're going to disconnect all the lines. I'm pretty sure there's an easier way to do this, but I'm following the book from GM, and I'm assuming the process is so long because they want to bill you for more hours, but that's the conspiracy theory here, right? So let's get all this taken out, and then once we get all this taken out, we'll jump back in and we'll pull the radiator. Alright, so now that we're back in the engine bay here, we need to take off the rest of the charging tube. So we've already done the front. So need to remove these two clamps on both sides, the mounting brackets. We're going to pull these out, and that should give us more access to the radiator. Alright guys, so we've removed the charging tube here, and we've taken the other one and we've kind of moved it over to the side. So we've gotten all this pretty much disconnected. So the next thing it has to do is the upper radiator hose needs to come off, and then the return line from the radiator needs to come off. So we're going to get those two off. So that's going to be right here on the right side of the radiator, and the left side of the radiator on the top left. Alright guys, so we're at the top of the radiator here, and we've made our way finally back to this point where we have to remove the transmission coolant lines. These are only on the automatic transmission. You're going to need a pick for this, and there's a tiny clip in there that you're going to have to pick out. It's pretty simple. Just grab the angle and put it right in there and pull the clip out. This is going to come right off. You don't need these if you're replacing with a new radiator, so just go ahead and toss that. Got it pulled out there. Take your pick, put it right in there, and you're going to pull that right off there. That's it. So, pull that clip off just like that, and then you're going to be able to pull that line out there. So, but be careful, it's going to drop fluid. Alright, so now that we have the actual radiator fan out, the AC, I don't even know if you want to call it condenser, accumulator, radiator, whatever, is still stuck to the radiator itself, and we need to disconnect it. But the only place it's actually connected is down here where the high and low pressure lines go in. So we're going to have to get those out there and get those disconnected. Not disconnect the lines, but get them out of that holding bracket. That'll allow us to pull out the radiator much easier. So let's try to finesse with this here and see if we can get that unhooked so we can get this out. All right, so let's slip underneath the car. So we're looking at the radiator, the back of it. And then like I was talking about earlier, there's cooling radiator, condenser, whatever, for the AC system. Sorry if I don't know the actual name of it. But these lines are actually supported here on the radiator, and you can't pull the radiator out until you remove that screw there. And it's actually not in the book at all, in the GM service manual. A lot of this disassembly is not, I'm sure, probably because they're looking at it as a common sense thing. We're going to pull that out. That's going to remove these high and low pressure lines from the mounting bracket on the radiator, which should allow us to pull the radiator out. Alrighty, so let's see if we can get this radiator pulled out now, which it should just come right out here with just some movement. There's a fan. That's what we're looking at from the front. So, see the AC cooler, oil cooler, and all the other fun stuff. Let me show you what the engine bay looks like though. A lot more room now. You can kind of see what's going on down there. There's the cooler lines, upper radiator hose, and we may end up actually changing the lower radiator hose. Let's take a look. And grab your new one. Try not to damage it. Let's see if we can slide it in here. Alright, so we got the radiator in, but we need to make sure we seat this AC condenser down here into the boots of the actual radiator itself, which it's not sitting evenly yet. So, let's see if we can get that in there. Alright, now we can get this condenser line set here. I believe it's an oil cooler. Not too sure, but I know it goes here. So, let's get that back in there. And don't forget to get all this tied down nice and tight, because it'll break if it's vibrating. What's next? Well, let's put the fan in. This is going to take a little bit of maneuvering. Well, before you put it all the way in, make sure you don't forget to plug it back in. Very, very, very important. Alright. So there's drop-in brackets at the bottom. Nothing touched the radiator when it was going in. So next thing we have to do is put these large bolts through. This will hold the entire assembly together. And the right side here. And let's get the transmission cooler line back in. Just push it right back in. It's going to lock because it has the new pin there. Pull on it, make sure that's locked. Alright, so now that we're back underneath the car,
Don't hook up your cooling line just yet, but you take your lower radiator hose. You're going to, again, this thing is full of coolant still, so just be careful. Pull it back. You're going to want to slip it right over the new lower inlet. Now you want to do your coolant line. You're just going to push it in because you have a new compression fitting in there. Push that in, pull it, make sure it's in. That's it. That's locked in. Let's go back up top. Alright guys, so we're all finished. Got the radiator all hooked up. Come around this side. Starting to get a little dark out. But fans on. Upper feed line, upper radiator hose line is on. Fans hooked up. All we got to do now is just put the car together. We're going to fill it up. We're going to start it up.